give this a try. Ed Furry here with Sail22. I've been thinking about, what we did when we started during the pandemic. A lot of videos had very good response. We brought in pros, we brought in PROs, we brought in experts to go over, what we do. And I think from looking out around the sailing world, we have written articles and we have some interviews here and there. We have a lot of not live, but shows on the America's Cup and Volvo and the big stuff. But we don't seem to have a lot going on with the little stuff, which isn't really that little. World championships in J70s are nothing to, look down on because that's pretty tough. Melges 15s are hot right now. So I think the big thing is to talk and have a platform to talk about what's going on with sailing, at what people can do. So I'll do I'm looking at my phone so I can see if anyone responds and people if they're actually watching, because that'd be helpful. But one thing we're gonna do is I will record everything and we'll post it on our YouTube channel, which if you just search Sail22 LLC, you'll find that. So I was thinking about this when we were, we had a big week not that long ago where we had J70 North Americans, J80 North Americans, IC37 North Americans, MC Nationals, and then after that we had J88s and we've had J111s, and we had Melges 15 Nationals that was canceled due to the hurricane, which ended up being the right decision. So people are asking a lot of questions and things like that. So we want to make sure that we can answer, everything and get people out here. So I figured I'd get this out here first before we did more. But if one of the reasons why we thought about this is looking at the events and who won, they're people that we work directly with, we know fairly well, and we'd like to hear from them to then pass it along to everyone. Judd Smith with Patrick and Carlos and Mark won the J70 North Americans. Kate Muller-Terhune was right behind them, and and Bruno was there, and we have a lot of our clients doing really well. I also watched the VX1 North Americans, and Doug Clark and Jeff Iber did an awesome job. But even myself, were watching from afar, so I didn't know really what happened. We can see by the scores, but talking to the people right after they win a regatta, maybe getting some updates during a regatta would be good. Myself, I end up at a lot of events, so I can do some updates at the events that allow you to ask questions. And I think answering questions is going to be a big thing because, it's hard to guess what people are thinking. And a lot of the pros are very, very good at sharing. And so we want to make sure that the sailing world can learn from the pros, and so they can go out and do better themselves. So I'm going to look at my other things, what happened. So Gamecock won the North Americans and IC37s. Both those Newport events were delayed a day, basically AP'd because there's too much wind from Fiona, the hurricane, as well as MC Nationals was won by Al Terhune, who he's on a tear in the MC class. He won the Nationals and he won the Inlands, which are be interesting to see, do some research on it if that's ever happened before. So let's look back. JDA North Americans, John Leahy and his team on Dutch did an awesome job and won pretty handily at home, full Corinthian team in very challenging conditions, big breeze, and then it died down but still had some waves, and Chicago can be pretty interesting. Also, what's interesting about that event was not only was that an awesome event, but next year the J70 North Americans will be right at that same venue. So that's definitely something that we'll be thinking about ahead of time, is as we gear up towards events, we can get you guys some information. Tech Talk, we work with a lot of the big companies, pretty much all of them. instruments are big right now. You have Vacaros with the Atlas, you have Lostech with the ProStart and the Speed Puck, you have Sailmon with the Max, you have Cyclops, which are sensors. You can use them in some classes, you can't in others, but you can train with them. B&G has a new data logger coming out, so that'll be interesting. So if these big companies want to touch base with us, we can bring them on. I know we've done this a little bit previously, so it'd be good to be able to do a section of a show talking to some of the guys, because we know Will and Doug and Todd and Jake at Vacaros. We know Charles and Alec at Velocitech. We know the guys at Sailmon. We know Tom and Ben at Cyclops. We don't actually know most of the people, or any of the people at B&G. Matt used to be there, but maybe he's not. Gear, rope. We do a lot of rope. And rope has changed a fair amount, but now it's fairly stabilizing. So it'd be good to be able to talk to, rope manufacturers and let them know, what's going on. So just checking to see if there's anyone jumping in comments. We do have comments. So I got a hi from Tennessee, and this is much needed from Scott. So thanks, guys. This is awesome. Let's talk about rope. We can do a rope thing. We work with guys in New England Ropes, Alpha, G&B, Kingfisher, Robline. Ron Stan distributes Robline. Also Ron Stan, we know Ben and the guys at Ron Stan, Harkin. We've done a lot with Harkin, both canvas and the regular stuff. So it'd be great to see some of their new things that are coming out, some of their old things they revamp. I think everyone's always trying to stay on top of things, and I think that's pretty good. We're doing more stuff with Alan. Alan's got some pretty cool stuff out of the UK. We do some printed things now, brackets. We also do some carbon things with our own custom brackets that we have Sean down in Sarasota making for us. We also do a lot with bots. So we run MarkSet bots, but we now see Smart Mark and Gypsy look like they might be trying to come into the US. Haven't seen anything. But it'd be interesting to talk to those guys to see what their plans are, long-term plans. As the bots work with instruments, we may end up doing a lot of races that we don't need race committee, or we need limited race committee. I've been running a lot of regattas, limited race committee. And so it'd be good to talk to the PROs. We work a lot with Mark Foster and Chip Till, who do an awesome job. We also, Russ Sabota, I worked with a little bit. He's the Area K, my local area guy, and I'm working on my PRO and my RO and all the other O's with him to get that status. But I run events up in Lake Superior in the Apostle Islands with the Superior Sailing Group. Awesome group of people. They have 4 CNC 30s up there, and with a little bit of help, I run a bunch of races for 4 CNC 30s, and so that's good. So that's an interesting thing that we'll work on talking about. I posted a link here, a survey about scoring systems. We worked a lot with Louis with yacht scoring, and that's now changed hands. Seems to be going pretty well after a few small hiccups, but yacht scoring is one of the better ones. We're seeing Flotilla come into play and Club Spot a lot more. Regatta Network has always been around. So get your opinion, and then we can talk about it with those different scoring systems. Maybe there's a new one we don't know about. I know in Europe there's other ones. So jump on the link and take the survey. Even if you're just a spectator, you're looking at those scores. And one of the things we want to work really hard on is making sure scores get up online so people can watch, because that's a big part of our sport, is making it accessible. So I think making it accessible by having the scores up quickly, and how do we help that? How do we make it easier, better, whatever. Toma said November is Discover Caribbean Regatta in Puerto Rico. So that's awesome. We'd love to share that information, share those, try to get to regattas when we can. So next, we're going to talk about what's coming up. And so these are events that if you let us know, we can do our best to get you information. J70 Worlds, I'm going to be a measurer, so I'm going to be there a week before the event. I actually leave the day the event starts. But I know Chris Howell and the executive committee that he runs the J70 class, they do a really good job of keeping us up to date. So maybe we can figure out all of the media outlets so we can share that. We are working on actually something that'll maybe help that. At least you can come to us to find out where all the links are. So we will work on that. J70 Worlds or J80 Worlds in Newport. That's coming up before the J70 Worlds. In fact, it starts, I believe, tomorrow. So I know Willem and Victor and Rod are all sailing with Glenn Darden. They won the North Americans. They're going to be hot. I know some of the Spanish teams. Louis Bagallo, we sent him some stuff. I know some amateurs, Connor Hayes and his team. Will Crump has Z Korwitz. So we can see who we can touch base with the J80 Worlds in Newport. We kind of started all this type of media going with the J80 Worlds many years ago. Last time they were in Newport when we did our sailing updates, and it was pretty cool and pretty epic conditions. So we hope there's epic conditions in Newport for the Worlds now coming up too. Melges 15, back to the Melges 15 class. After Nationals canceled, there is a regatta at Columbia. It's a Melges 15 and VX1 regatta that is October 22 and 23 in Columbia, South Carolina. That'll be an awesome event, and I'm the PRO, so I'll have fun with that one. I'll be running 4 Markset bots. So it'd be great to get both Melges 15s that were in the area already for the Nationals, but missed out. It's a great big lake, great club, super hospitable, nicest people. And then they usually have a big party at Barn Party right there. And then the VX1s usually get a good turnout because they have a local fleet there. And that's a great spot to start your way down to Florida. I know Pensacola will be next for them. And then the VX1s will work their way to Pensacola next. Fall Brawl will be a big event for the J70s in Annapolis. That event is one of the last qualifiers for the St. Pete Worlds. So that'll be a big one. I know there's about 17 boats registered right now, but I think if you want to do the Worlds in St. Pete, that's definitely a must. Hit Annapolis in the last weekend of October, so that'll be a blast. That'll be a good one. Viper North Americans in New Orleans. That's in Gulfport. So that should be a good one. I know they have a really good turnout there, but that's also leading up to their winter series, which is in New Orleans. Think about, if you're a Viper sailor, definitely think about going down south on the Gulf Coast. That'll be good. The VX1s will have Pensacola early. I'm kind of jumping ahead real quick. Melges 24 Nationals. It's been a little bit quiet in the Melges 24 class. There's been some stuff around the Midwest because the Great Lakes have an awesome group that sails a lot. But their event, November 11 to 13 in Pensacola, looks like they're at about 20, 25 boats. That'll be a great event to kind of start off the winter for the Melges 24s. The big event that we're working on is the Mixed Plus Regatta. If you don't know about the Mixed Plus Regatta, please reach out. You can see I have the Mixed Plus shirt right here. Becky Anderson designed our logos for it, and she drove the first Mixed Plus event that we did in St. Pete last February. But the Mixed Plus basically means you have 50% or more females on the boat. You don't have to have a male driver, but it's very encouraged. We will have a cool carbon fiber trophy as the final, as the winner of the Mixed Plus division. And there are some charter boats available. That's also Melges 15s. Melges 15s is easier because you just need either a guy and a girl or a couple girls. That'll be a good event for sure. St. Pete Yacht Club does an awesome job running events. We have Todd Fedizin as our PRO, and it'll be great. So please talk to us about that event. J70 team, you need 2 guys, 2 girls, 3 girls, 4 girls, 1 guy, 5 girls. You just have to have 50% or more females. So talk to us more about that. We'll do a little special show about that at some point. Maybe I'll talk to Willem, who's one of the big promoters of this. He came to me with the idea of this. Him and Lindsay Smith. Lindsay is unfortunately not able to help us, but we are praying for her in her recovery from a misfortunate incident. But we can get Willem on here to talk more about Mix Plus. He's done a great job of getting teams and owners out there. We need some female drivers, and we do have boats available, but those are filling up. Winter Series. Winter sailing is one of the biggest, most popular parts of our sport. So I will be at a lot of the Winter Series. The Davis Islands, we're running bots and support and running the Friday practices for the J70 Winter Series in Davis Island. That's December, January, and February. The Bacardi Series. So there's a December, a January, and a March. We will be working same thing, Melges 24s and the J70s. For the big Bacardi in March, there's VXones, Vipers, and Melges 15s as well. So we'll be highly involved with those. The Melges 15 class goes to Jensen Beach this year for the Winter Series. So there'll be a January, February, March event in Jensen Beach. That'll be new, so there'll be a lot to learn about there. So we definitely want to be involved in seeing how Jensen Beach goes for the Melges 15s. But Sarasota will still have a couple of events. They have a big fleet there. So there'll be a January event and a March event in Sarasota. And the Melges 15s are also invited to the Bacardi in March. So that'll be awesome. Melges 24s will be at Bacardi, and then they're invited to the Southernmost Regatta. We once again will be supporting the Southernmost Regatta. We'll be running bots. We'll have our pro coach boat, and we'll be helping out during that regatta. That'll be Key West second time around as the Southernmost. And really excited about seeing the Cape 31s down there. There's 6 boats registered so far. If you have any more interest in the Cape 31s, reach out to us at Sail22 because we're working with Dave Sweet and getting the Cape 31 class going in the U.S. There's already a few boats scattering around the country, and so we want to get those a little more organized. And the Southernmost will be one of the regattas, and we're working with Dave and his group at 31 North to create a February event. So that'd probably also be in Key West at this point, just to keep logistics good. And then the boats are going down to the Caribbean. So sounds like St. Martin will be next, and then we'll go over that schedule at some point with those guys. The VX1s, they've been very hot. Last winter they were big. The winter before that I was PRO for a couple of their events in Sarasota. They were Pensacola last year. They'll do a couple events in Pensacola, but it was a little chilly there. So it looks like the Port Charlotte, we're hoping, has survived Hurricane Ian because that's the new location to do, I believe, 4 events there. That's something that we'll report as soon as we know if there's anything there. Word is they're not reaching out yet because they want to let them deal with more important things. And we should know by the end of the week or early next week what is going on with Port Charlotte for the VX1s. Hurricane Andrew took a big hit, and so on that area we don't get down that way too much, so it hasn't affected a lot of our sailing. But one of the places it did affect is Edison Sailing Center. That's a local program has kept costs very low to do sailing for anyone, and they are pretty much 100% rebuilding. There is a GoFundMe that you can go to our Sail22 page and look at the link to the GoFundMe page. They're asking for up to $50,000, but for what they have to do, it's going to be way more than that. So if you're going to support something to support sailing, Edison Sailing Center is an amazing program. Only other question I have right here has been, do we know anything about the Ssl Gold Cup? We do not. We see stuff and we look at it, but we don't know a whole lot about that. That's a little higher end and more individual with what they're doing, country by country. I know Paul Caird is the U.S. rep, and I think pretty sure he doesn't sail but puts the team together. We can look for that and let you know, but that's not something that normally hits what we do, but that's doesn't mean we can't look for it and try to figure it out. So shoot us some questions through PMs. You can comment during this event and after this event, and we'll put this up onto our YouTube channel. One of the next things we will have next week is we have the fill out the form, the Google form for scoring services, so we can get your opinion on that, and then shoot us anything else, any regattas that I missed. I did have one here on the MCs in Eustis because they are close to here. The Melges 20s are winter series in Miami, so we'll talk and look about that as well. And then next time I will tee up some people, maybe some of the guys that won the last events. When I get to events, I'll grab people in person and bring them on. But this is the start of many shows to get make sure the sailing community is aware of all the small keelboat, small one design racing, and anything else that's cool too. So what Sail22 does. So that's it for now. Please comment, please share, and when we get the YouTube link up, we'll post it on our page and on this event. Thank you.